Okay, welcome back to Mixing the Wood Brothers in Universal Audio Luna. Last video we were checking the phase and polarity on the drums and other tracks, and what I'm going to do today, I'm going to start by exporting the tracks that we fixed last time. I'm doing that so that I can pull those files in and have no processing on there whatsoever and just start from a blank slate, so to speak. So the way I'm going to do that, this is important. I need to make sure that this counter here is at the beginning. I'm just going to hit the return key. And we're now at 11000. If I don't do that before I hit mix down, then it will only mix down from where the playhead is, and we'll just go, or it will just give me a file that's that long, or if it's over here, it'll only be that long, and it won't be lined up. So I need to hit return and come over to export. I only want the kick in, out, snare top, snare bottom, and the overhead. So if you notice, I unclicked main. I don't need that. I am going to preserve mono tracks because these are mono. I'm going to put them into the Wood Brothers prints folder. That's a folder that I made within the Wood Brothers folder on my audio drive. We're check that's 24-bit, and we're gonna hit mix down. Okay, now that those have been exported, I'm going to grab them and drag them over to the file bin here. And before moving them around, I'm actually going to rename them right fast. They have these huge names on them right now. They always have the names of the project, by the way, at the beginning. Maybe that's something Universal Audio can change in the future. Okay, so let's move these next to their counterparts in the regular view here. So I'm going to put the kick in right next to there. Okay, great. Now to do this next part, this is kind of important as well. Highlight these tracks that I have processed with auto align. I'm going to power off the plugins, and then I'm going to set their outputs to no output. It's a little bit of extra insurance that they're not going to come through on the mix, and then I'm going to hide them. Let's make these all the same color again and correct these names because they're going to bother me. This is the hats. Okay, we're ready to go here. Let's take a listen to these drum tracks and make sure they still sound good. Okay, next up, we're going to check the gain structure on these. I'm going to start with the kick, and I'm going to get a VU meter. One thing to note about this, I keep getting questions about how I'm doing this. I'm watching this meter here, which is a peak meter, and I'm watching the VU because there's a lot of information between those two, but the VU meter is not going to get pushed as hard, obviously, as the peak meter, but because of the way the transients work on a bass drum, it doesn't push a VU meter very hard anyway, but I'm watching it to make sure we don't have any peaks or anything terribly loud here. Like that. That peak is pretty high right there. So pull that down a bit. I'm going to copy this over to a bunch of tracks actually by hitting copy here and then dragging over. One thing to note is I'm trying to find the loudest sections. this is one of those cases where you can see the file here doesn't look like it's too hot, but if you watch the meter here, that's going to cause a problem down the road. Let's pull that down a bit.
Well, standing on the back of that train with your open arms. Well, standing on the back of that train with your open arms. And looking at the bitch, she wish she had your red-headed woman back sometime. Well, the last thing you got, she wish she had your red-headed woman back sometime. She wish she had your red-headed woman back sometime. Well, standing on the back of that train with your open arms. And looking at the big sky, listening to the smoke alarm.
This is one of those cases where most of the track is not as loud as one section. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this back up a bit.
Well, standing on the back of that train with your open arms. Every night you get the same old dream.
And over here, you'll notice there's this one section.
Well, a white skin, freckles, big hard candy green eyes. I bet you wish you had your red-headed woman back sometime.
Those little parts right there, I'm going to bring down their gain right fast by doing this. I'm going to highlight that section. I'm going to hit the B, which is going to break that clip up. And then I'm going to bring down the gain like that.
Well, a white skin, freckles, big hard candy green. Well, a white skin, freckles.
That's much better. Okay, now.
Hard candy green eyes. I bet you wish you had your red-headed woman back. Red-headed woman.
Do the same thing right here.
You had your red-headed woman back sometime. You wish you had your red-headed woman back sometime.
You'll notice this has already created fades when I made those breaks. I don't think it will need any more editing right there.
You wish you had your red-headed woman back sometime. Well, a white skin, freckles, big hard candy green eyes. I bet you wish you had your red-headed woman back sometime. And you open up to see you. And you open up to see you like you didn't even love better. See you like you didn't even love better. Every night you get the
When they were recording this, they obviously caught him getting pretty loud at the end and brought the faders down on the console, which was helpful. So I'm going to take this entire track right here. I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to consolidate that file by hitting workflow and consolidate. That makes it one continuous track now. So
Well, standing on the back of that train with your open arm. Off your spoon. Woo, honey, woo, honey dripping off of your spoon.
okay, I'm gonna do something different right here. This beginning part with the harmonica, I think that's the only harmonica. Well, there's a harmonica part right here as well. And here. And there. I'm going to cut those into another track. In other words, I'm going to make a new audio track here. Oh, I'm going to call it harmonica. Okay, and so I'm gonna take those sections and move them onto the harmonica track because I'm more than likely going to process that differently than the vocals. So I'm gonna highlight this, and probably the safest way to do this is to copy. I'm gonna hit the semicolon key. That's gonna keep it in the exact same place, and then paste. I know that seems like a weird process, but right now, if you drag it, well, let's check it out right fast. Let's see here. Because right now, the way Luna is set up is if I drag this down, it doesn't really stay. You see it moves over, and I hope that's something that they fix soon. But the quick way to get around that is to copy, semicolon or colon, moves down, keeps the exact same space, and then paste. Okay, then I can just delete. It's actually really fast once you get used to doing it. But okay, so now that I have this new track for harmonica, what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this as well and make it an entire track by consolidating. That way I can manipulate the gain of that one as a whole and not as part of the background vocal.
Well, standing on the back of that train with your open arm. Should be, and there's a honey drip off your spoon.
Okay, before I go, let's take a listen to this overhead and see if we can figure out whether this is audience perspective or drummer's perspective. I hear that snare mostly on the right. Yep. Okay, so it is audience perspective, which is cool. That tells me that the rack tom will be on the right and the floor tom will be on the left. Now, I know this seems like a lot of work and it seems like busy work or something at first, but I cannot stress how important this is to get the gain structure correct before we start doing some heavy processing. This will make life so much easier and it will make everything quicker and sound better, I promise. So in the next video, we'll do the bus routing and start mixing the drums and go from there. Okay, so thanks for watching again, and please hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.